Hey y'all, Justin Gay, Seeds of Xanadu. I hope you guys can hear me. We're in the middle of a pretty nasty little wind event. I don't want to call it a storm necessarily. Anyhow, the wind has decimated these trays of broccoli. This one looks like it's going down too. Now as you can see, I have them sitting in our mega trays, which can hold up to 4. And I just want to see exactly how long it's going to take for these broccoli to pop back and get back into fighting weight. We will overhead water just about all of my microgreen trays. When they start looking like that, definitely when they look that bad, I always want to underwater. So if I were to go and water on top of this, all I'm going to do now is weigh down those microgreens. It's going to be really hard for them to pop back up, right? So by watering them up from underneath, what I'm doing is just basically just doing that. I'm allowing them to get the water, and then they're just going to stand up on their own accord. There's not going to be any extra heavy water weighing them down, and everything should be cool. Another pretty cool thing about bottom watering trays as well is that I can actually take these trays off now if I wanted to. Seeing that the soil has already begun to absorb the moisture. What I'm doing now is just really making sure that that moisture is getting in here because these guys were really bad. I'm only growing in right about 1.25 inches of soil. Even in my 2-inch trays, I don't go that deep. That's a big one. There's not a lot of depth for water to actually stay in the tray. So it's going to evaporate much faster. So that's why it's very important for me to keep these things hydrated, especially when it comes time for the wind. And it normally hits right around this time of year. Right when it starts getting back into those cooler temperatures, the wind normally picks up. So it's right about 12 o'clock now, so it's perfect. I'm gonna go eat and chill, and I'm gonna come back and check on these guys in a couple hours and see where they're at. So it's been right about an hour now, and look where they are. Now I've come out here and kind of teased them up a little bit. I mean, they even feel better. Like if you were to water this on top, there's no way you kind of play with them like that. I mean, I guess you can, but the key thing is that you're really running a risk of keeping a mat of microgreens layered on top of each other. That's just no good, you know? That could really cause problems. I just prefer to water from the bottom at this level of wilt. Temperatures in Fontana, man, can get really hot and really windy. I mean, when you get to like the 116-degree weather, right, there's no place you can put your microgreens that's safe. So I tend to leave them outside where I feel as though it's a little bit more airy, but even then, even during that time of the year in August, it's just stagnant here, just like but right now, it's like the opposite. It is crazy how it works here. Yeah, you definitely don't want to put them in the garage at that temp. It's making me think a little bit more about the greenhouse. A couple of things that I might need to implement to make things a little bit easier. But anyway, until then, I just kind of make sure things are really well hydrated, man. Now keep in mind, last year I didn't have this canopy. I was running around like crazy trying to get all these microgreens back into the garage just because the wind was insane. I have a 10x canopy. It was a 10x10 canopy, and that was all thrashed because of the wind. So now I'm way more covered. Anyhow, I just decided to leave them on out here. The weather in terms of temperatures actually weather nice. They're digging it, I'm digging it. I mean, you do get like this kind of stuff. But to be 100% honest with you, I think that that's more being prolonged by the wind. I mean, as you can tell, like normally with this kind of wind that's happening right now, you shouldn't be able to hear me. So it's not that bad. You know, it's windy, it sounds gnarly, but that's mostly the canopy. Yeah, I've just been leaving them out here, man, and they've been actually pretty cool. Do get your random hits like what we're dealing with now, and look at these guys. They're still rising, so I have no doubt that those things will have a full recovery. And the reason that they were actually even that bad is because they were way further back in the canopy. So everybody have been watered today. Some of them just need more depending on where they're at in the canopy. That's one of the hardest parts about growing microgreens is when to water. In the summer, it's cool. You can pretty much water every day in the summer, even sometimes twice a day, and you're pretty fine. But when you start getting into the cooler months, like we're getting into now, you have to be kind of careful because you're not getting enough evaporation. Now, when it's windy as hell like this, you know, it's getting back on. You can pretty much go ahead and water again because, you know, that wind is just going to dry it out. So it's all good. You know, you should probably water a little bit more, in fact. I mean, look at me. I'm licking my lips so much. I gotta go drink some more water. The time is 2:31. So that's where things are at in about 2.5 hours. They're pretty well saturated. I'm out. I'll catch you guys in a sec. Hey guys, just made it back. It's right about 8:15 p.m. of course. And I'm gonna let you guys see the trays. So as you can see, guys, those things look pretty damn good. It's about at least 8 hours. My suspicion is that it took a lot less, probably closer to like 5 to 6 hours. But I was gone, so I can't really confirm or deny it. I'm outside, all these moths are crazy. Now you see why we had all these damn cutworms, man. It's relatively warm right now too, so there's gonna be a lot of them out right now. And then we're in the middle of fall, that's crazy. Wind has died down quite a bit. All the microgreens are looking good. I just wanted to show you as soon as I seen them. So I'll probably show you again tomorrow. There is a bit of something going on here. It's not mold. I just think that's actually wind damage. When your microgreens kind of wilt that far and then keep getting pelted by wind, what ends up happening is that it's not so much that they're getting dehydrated. They're actually, yeah, they're getting dehydrated. It's not that it's from evaporation. It's that now that the leaves themselves are actually starting to dry out. So that's kind of par for the course. I'll just remove that and kind of go on. But anyhow, there's one thing that I didn't mention. We haven't really talked that much about this canopy. So this canopy is a 12 by 30. It's nothing more than a carport, really. I got it for right about $600. I cannot remember the name of the company, but they're very easy to find. The plan is to actually make this into a greenhouse. I'm not gonna really be worrying about too much of anything in terms of the wind and that kind of stuff. At least it'll really protect me from that. But the one thing that I did count on actually happened. Last year, wind was just gnarly. It tore up my 10 by 10. So from the bubbler to the end of that canopy there was wide open. Okay? So wind would be able to blow through here, get underneath the canopy, and pretty much just bounce it up and down, and it eventually just broke stuff apart and it just ripped it, and it was just gnarly. And then from there was absolutely no type of cover. So what I thought was, if I get a 12 by 30 canopy, right? Actually, the 30 was the more important part for me here. Reason being is this. The roof of the canopy is pretty much the same size as the roof of the house, right? So what ends up happening with some of the wind, at least, not all of it, it actually just goes along the top of the canopy. And that's what you're hearing, a lot of that nasty, like, hitting and stuff. Don't get me wrong, there is wind that does get in here, of course, right? Obviously, you've seen some of the trays, and you see the way that I'm reacting, but it's not a lot because still we're blocked here. We have that extra windbreak. But yeah, microgreens they're overall looking good, man. I'm really happy with them. Here's the radish. Those are the same radish that were on the racks. So, I mean, everything's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. You can actually still keep these things out here. Like I said, temperature-wise, it's nice. It's just the wind. It's extremely, extremely dry out here. So we actually have to keep hydrated a lot. I need to go back in there and drink some more water. Anyway, y'all, just a quick little update on what's going on here. Peace, y'all.